YouTube? So, this is my review for... I forgot the name of the book. Okay, this is a great way to start. This is Awkward. A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. We have ourselves another Song of Blank and Blank book. However, that did not put me off. I was excited because it is West African inspired, and I'm always on the lookout for... I love finding books featuring people of color, or fantasy books in particular, and book series that deal with non-European storylines, non-Western storylines. But in particular, I'm always looking for Black and African inspired stuff, so that's cool. As is my custom, I'm going to start off with a description of the book, reading the summary from Goodreads, and then we'll dive into my thoughts. The first in a fantasy duology inspired by West African folklore, in which a grieving crown princess and a desperate refugee find themselves on a collision course to murder each other, despite their growing attraction. For Malik, the Solstaja Festival is a chance to escape his war-stricken home and start a new life with his sisters in the prosperous desert city of Ziran. But when a vengeful spirit abducts Malik's sister, Nadia, as payment into the city, Malik strikes a fatal deal: kill Karina, crown princess of Ziran, for Nadia's freedom. But Karina has deadly aspirations of her own. Her mother, the Sultana, has been assassinated. Her court threatens mutiny, and Solstaja looms like a knife over her neck. Grief-stricken, Karina decides to resurrect her mother through ancient magic, requiring the beating heart of a king. And she knows just how to obtain one, by offering her hand in marriage to the victor of the Solstaja competition. When Malik rigs his way into the contest, they are set on a course to destroy each other. But as attraction flares between them and ancient evils stir, will they be able to see their tasks to the death? So, I feel like on first read, this kind of sounds typical, but not typical. First we have the, people are out to kill each other, but there's a growing attraction. We also have that title. First we have the Song of Blank and Blank.
I misspoke here. It doesn't have to be a song, but it's definitely a blank of blank and blank.
Title, And then we also have this sort of enemies to potential lovers thing going on. And even beyond that, it's before they even meet each other, they're already destined to murder each other or to cause some kind of harm. And there are these predestined expectations. And obviously that's going to be ruined because there's an attraction going on. Okay. Great. In some ways, I did find this book to be a little tropey. If you guys watched my review for Children of Blood and Bone, when I read that book the first time, I loved it because it was just West Africa, and it was just great. Or, Nigeria inspired. Okay, great. And then I read it a second time, and I really struggled through it because I started reading all of the, I started seeing all of the traditional tropes. For this book, I feel like it was more evenly balanced. I saw some of the tropes, but they didn't bother me this time around. Sometimes I felt like the pacing was a little slow, which is why this wasn't a full 5-star read for me. And I feel like there's only so many storylines or potential relationships out there, so I feel like there will be some tropes, but I feel like the way that it was handled, I thought it was handled really well. There were a lot of things that happened, especially in the last half or less of the book, that really it shocked me. And I think that's what made this book worth it for me. I feel like the first half might have been 3.5 stars because it was good and it was a good story. It was well written. I liked how the world was depicted. I liked sort of what I think of as sort of a role reversal, that Karina, the princess, is, this boss bitch, and that Malik, rather than being, on par with her or being, moody and grouchy, I think, so we see a lot of strong female heroines. So I feel like it's not necessarily Karina, but Malik that I appreciated. The fact that he wasn't very confident in himself, that he was not the alpha male. Would he be considered a beta? I'm not sure. But I liked his character, and I liked watching him grow to some extent, in addition to the relationship with his sisters and this fierce need to protect Nadia. That is what, sparks this whole his entire journey, as well as the relationship with Layla. I also really appreciated that, especially near the end, because it's pretty tumultuous in the beginning, but I appreciated them near the end. Karina, her mother and she had a tumultuous relationship, but regardless of that, watching your mother be assassinated sort of throws all of that out the window, and for a lot of it, Karina is kind of grief-stricken, and so it was also really nice watching her rise to the challenge of being the princess.
Say queen or sultana, as she's now taking over her mother's duties.
Sometimes she did have her like fits and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, she is still like 17, 18, and yes, okay, she's being raised in the royal court, but as you see, her life was she had a lot going on, and so she rebelled a lot, or she didn't feel like she was fit to rule, and I feel like that was handled well, and it was balanced out well with her attempting to get her court under control. But as the description said, there are people threatening mutiny, the people that she trusts most. Oh my gosh, one of the people who betrays her, guys, that shit was intense. Like, I did not see that one coming at all, and then the way it ended. So Karina has a lot of learning to do and a lot to do to sort of get her kingdom in order. And I do not want to give away any spoilers, because I really enjoyed it. So everything that I've told you thus far, I think either was in the description or it does not take away from the plot. However, I will say that treachery lies in the most unexpected corners, and it was freaking wild. And honestly, I think it's the plot twists and turns that is what really bumped this up. Like the magic, that was cool.
Inadvertent minor spoiler alert, skip about 15 seconds ahead if you want no spoilers whatsoever.
This car horn beeping is not cool. But anyway, the magic, that was cool. And watching Malik sort of come into his own and become more confident in his magic, watching Karina's magic and learning about how it affected her in the past, learning about sort of the history of her family, and all of that was interesting. And to some, it had its air. Some aspects were original, some aspects not so much, whatever. Okay, that's fine. But again, the way the plot twists, and it never felt contrived to me. And as I mentioned before, sometimes the pacing was a little slow, yes, but ultimately I think it was so worth it, and I am so ready. I am so here for the second book. I really hope that it is as good or surpasses the next one, especially with how things turn out between Karina and Malik. I didn't see that, I didn't see it coming, and I don't know if there are any people who predicted quite how it turned out, but I loved the way it was done. And if I haven't said this already 10 times in this video, I recommend 4 stars, 4.5 stars. The slow pacing brought it down a little bit for me. In some aspects it was, slow, even though the world was still being richly depicted in these slowed down times. I also feel like the book really picked up in the second half, and so I was definitely interested from the beginning, but the fact, I don't know, I'm torn, right? Because I'm not going to be drawn and compelled throughout the whole thing, right? But like I said, I like to be discerning with my 5-star reviews, or I'm trying to be. Those are the ones that really blow me away. So this is 4 to 4.5 stars. Wholeheartedly recommend, 100%. Go buy it, listen to it. I really liked the narrator for Malik. I didn't love the person who voiced Karina, but overall, I really enjoyed the narration. So wholeheartedly recommend. Did I say that already?